Disappointed because your training has been interrupted by injury? Wondering how to best manage knee pain and get back to running? In this episode I will share my thoughts as I'm dealing with this right now. I'm Gary Round here at Couch to Marathon. Thanks for joining us. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe and the bell button to be notified of new videos as soon as they are published. In Couch to Marathon, I discuss my journey from base fitness to running a complete marathon. I will cover the challenges and the successes of this great adventure with no filtering other than my language. For convenience, any products mentioned will be linked in the description box below. So let's jump into episode 6. In this episode we will look at the frustrations that an injury brings, the ways to deal with it from a physical point of view, and more importantly from a psychological one. We will cover dealing with the problem on a physical level first, with techniques to avoid extended delays and to speed up the recovery process. With the physical side covered off, we will explore the psychological impact of training interruptions, along with ways to manage that frustration and reduce the negative feedback that the situation can generate. But first, a word of warning. If you have an injury, please make sure you have either seen a trained person to assess it for treatment or have sufficient experience to perform that assessment yourself. Untreated injuries that need specific intervention therapies will become worse. Get them looked at. With that said, I am going to be talking about my specific instance of runner's knee. This is a painful condition that makes running nearly impossible. If you do decide to run through the pain, and let's be honest, that is what runners do, at the very least it will affect your running form and your times. At worst, it will exacerbate the condition and potentially even sideline you for some time. If the condition is mild, it is possible to support the knee with kinesiology tape, such as the product I use, which is by Rock Tape, or possibly an athletic support. I have tried an athletic support, and if applied properly, this will work to reduce the pain from continued use, but they will also impact on your running form. The Rock Tape, however, when applied properly, will do a better job and won't change your running form at all. I was certainly one of those who continued running through the pain and managed quite well for a couple of medium runs, some tempo work and some intervals. Unfortunately, despite the support from the Rock Tape, the condition wasn't clearing up and I've had to take some time off to let the condition heal. The use of heat and cold packs has certainly helped to deal with the worst of the pain and certainly left it possible for me to walk normally for everyday purposes. I have used ice in the traditional ice pack form, but I do find reusable gel packs to be more convenient and certainly as effective, if not more so. Applying the Rock Tape is straightforward, and the product website has a ton of video guides for dealing with a whole range of conditions and injuries. I won't rehash them here, but highly recommend checking them out for superb how-to information. Another idea to consider if the condition persists is to try finding a CrossFit exercise that won't impact the injury, and yet enable you to retain at least your base aerobic fitness, in preparation obviously for a return to running. With the physical side covered off, and in my case escalated to taking a rest break from running, I want to move on to the psychological impact. If you do any sort of sport, I'm sure you will have experienced the disappointment of having an event cancelled by circumstances out of your control. This is exactly what happens with an injury. The difference is you can't be sure when you'll be able to resume. Not having a date to be able to start running and training again, that's where the frustration sets in. The temptation will be to convince yourself that you've recovered enough to resume. You almost certainly won't have when these thoughts first crop up. If you do manage to remain patient and rest for a while longer, it is highly likely that you will start becoming anxious about missing phased training targets, race dates looming ahead. The best advice I have to you help you deal with this is a simple one. Consider if you continue training and the condition doesn't clear, then you will have blown any chance of a good performance on race day. Anyway, if you can't rest long enough to heal the condition and then resume some light training, you should at least stand a decent chance of completing the race, and the extended taper period may even work in your favour. So then, a quick summary before we close. Get an assessment of the injury and be certain it doesn't need specific intervention therapy. Consider CrossFit alternatives and kinesiology tape to promote the recovery of the injured area. Don't try to rush the recovery, it won't work. Thanks for watching episode 6 of Couch to Marathon. please subscribe if you have enjoyed it and found it useful. If you have time, it would be great to see you in the Couch to Marathon community sharing your own journeys. The website is linked below. Take care, enjoy your challenges and successes, stay strong, and I will see you again soon. Bye.